End of the World Prophecy Number 3. Welcome to the entertainment apocalypse, the death of Hollywood, the death of Disney, and the future of storytelling. This is going to be a long one, but it is definitely the most important, and one of the positive changes. You know the influence Lovecraft has had on the horror and sci-fi genres, his own name being turned into a descriptive term for unspeakable cosmic horrors. He and his circle of author friends were also the first to create a shared universe with their interweaving tales of the Cthulhu mythos. What they began, we shall continue. One of our earliest mottos here at the First United Church of Cthulhu is Lovecraft for the 21st century. We are the future of the mythos. And I don't just mean myself and the other founders, or just the priests and priestesses, I'm talking about all of you. As we create together the new ways to revel and enjoy ourselves as our mad prophet predicted in the Call of Cthulhu. This is a communal thing that has brought us all together. The days of the gatekeepers are over. May they suffer Warren's fate. This is our time. Moving on. We are social animals. We have been gathering together around the fire and sharing tales since before recorded history. The oldest representation of storytelling so far is the Chauvet Cave in France, dating to 36,000 years ago. The oldest known cave painting is a red hand stencil in the Maltreviso Cave in Cáceres, Spain. It was created by a Neanderthal and is over 64,000 years old. And the oldest surviving musical instrument is the Neanderthal flute, thought to be around 60,000 years old, and was only discovered in 1995 in a cave in Slovenia. Reduced down to its most basic element, they are just ways for us to both educate and entertain ourselves. Art, music, storytelling, they are all hardwired into our brains, some of the most defining characteristics that make us human. These shared experiences bind us together, create communities, and break down barriers that may have divided us for thousands of years as old prejudices die out and new ways forward are forged. You're never too old to stop being an asshole and come hang out with us. That's why it has been a tactic of tyrants throughout history to destroy culture to control a people, eliminate their past to enslave their future. And American culture has suffered a 1-2 punch that has put it down for the count. Movies and the theater-going experience, once the dominant form of culture and entertainment, are on their way out. A very small but very vocal group of internet incompetents, focused mostly in the younger millennial and older Gen Z age bracket, their cancel culture and woke mind virus have spread out into reality and infected the general population. Thankfully, the tide has turned on that shit show tsunami section of humanity, and their influence is subsiding, but the broader cultural damage has already been done. It's truly the second knockout punch which is reverberating through American society and the various entertainment industries and just absolutely destroying the last 200 years of our culture. Gen Z has unequivocally declared, "We have the internet, we don't need Hollywood anymore." The age of the movie star is over. People are making quality shot films with an iPhone and some filters. When I was young, I worked at a movie theater. Great people, great times, horrible pay but unlimited popcorn and soda plus free movies. But that model is no longer sustainable. It's always been a teenager job paying minimum wage, but with inflation and the high prices of everything, a trip to the movies with the kids is now a luxury expense the average American family can no longer afford. I already had to give up eating anything but the cheapest, most basic foods from the grocery store just so I can afford to buy a pizza for the kids when they come over, because that was about the last financial wiggle room I had to give up. As much as I love the cinema, they will not survive the next few years of inflation, stagnation, recession, possible depression, and just bad movie making. The quality of most modern films is just horrific. Disney especially has proven that no artists want to work for them anymore because of the terrible treatment and work conditions, and that is apparent in the extremely poor quality of their CGI in the last few years. And there is nothing wrong with putting social commentary or morality issues in your films. Just don't punch people in the face with your message. If you have to put down others to lift yourself up, then you're on the wrong side of history to begin with. The Barbie movie was very polarizing, but if you actually watched the film, it had a very balanced take on all the social issues that have been brought up about the doll through the decades. And everyone seemed to miss the final moral of the story when the ghost of the creator of Barbie explains humanity to the plastic blonde. You understand that humans only have one ending, ideas live forever, humans not so much. Being a human can be pretty uncomfortable. Humans make things up like patriarchy and Barbie just to deal with how uncomfortable it is. And then you die. This is a much more subtle way of saying the exact same thing as the philosophy of the metal band Slipknot with their song, People Equal Shit. And let's talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room, the Disney Corporation. Before, they could do no wrong, but the founder Walt Disney, and the cinematic magic he created, have been dead and gone for a long time now. There was the Disney Renaissance during the 90s, but that too has been milked and beaten to death. It became quite apparent that all they cared about was money, and now the theme parks are unaffordable, continually raising prices even during one of America's greatest economic downturns. But the oddest part, and the one that has utterly destroyed the company financially to the point that they now have to sell off ESPN and all their television stations just to stay afloat, and they have burned through all their working capital, they have switched their focus from money to shoving their message down the throats of the viewers. And all they had to do was obey the corporate golden rule, and none of this would have happened. You don't talk about sex, religion, or politics in the workplace. But what did they do? They started putting sexual identity politics in as many of their films and TV shows as they could. Sexual content does not belong in children's programming. The Disney company just turned 100 and they have thrown it all away. Because of this behavior, they are no longer a trusted brand. In just the last 2 years, they have lost $1 billion at the box office as parents began refusing to take their kids to the theater to see these films. It's not Disney's place to force conversations about sexual topics between parents and their 3-year-olds. Disney is broke, and they did it to themselves. But their other behavior is much worse, in my opinion. My family is white, Black, Mexican, Hopi, and Native Alaskan, and I've even got some Middle Eastern and a drop of Levantine blood in me. I do not tolerate racism of any kind. But Disney has started introducing race politics into its shows like She-Hulk, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and the Proud Family reboot, hired Justin Simien, a black supremacist race grifter who exploited racial tensions in America just to make money and a name for himself with his show Dear White People. But the worst of all is Black Panther 2, which openly and disgustingly racially insults Mexicans and whites. I am fucking done with Disney. And I have loved them since I was a child. You do realize that the ending of Little Mermaid is taken from the ending of Lovecraft's The Call of Cthulhu. I've had Disney Plus since it launched, but I just canceled it. They've only made a couple good films or shows for the service in that 4 years, but constantly adding sexuality and racism to children's programming is not acceptable. And they just raised the yearly subscription by $50. There's a specific word for people who want to talk to children about sexual things. I know this might sound trivial, but it is not. For decades, Disney has been the #1 media company on the entire planet. But because of this recent behavior, their stock has plummeted and lost most of its previous value, and Comcast has replaced it at the top of the heap for media and entertainment companies, with Comcast surging to number 51 on Forbes' Global 2000 list of companies and Disney dropping to number 87. Disney continues to lose billions of dollars every year on their streaming platforms, and their attempt to course correct now by making more sequels to Frozen and Toy Story will not come in time to save the company. The giant has been felled and they will not recover. The landscape of modern entertainment is changed forever. Now, on to the next casualty. The American comic book industry is done. This does make me sad, but it was inevitable. I used to have a great collection of 80s comics I bought as a kid, until an unfortunate accident involving a massive monsoon here in Arizona turned them into a pile of mushy pulp. But for the last 10 years, both Marvel and DC have been plagued with woke political agendas. Remember what I said about destroying a culture to control a people? Rather than introducing new characters, they have taken their most popular characters and race-swapped them or gender-swapped them or slapped random sexual and gender identities on them. So everybody stopped buying new comic books. Old back issues make more money now. But there's another big factor that has single-handedly destroyed the comic book industry as well as heavily damaging Disney and the film industry and comic conventions and even the streaming platforms. Manga and anime. Of the top 50 comic books and graphic novels, 49 of them are manga. And number 50 was a reissued Batman graphic novel. Japan has beaten the US at its own game. There is no way for Marvel and DC to recover. And honestly, with rising print costs here, the monthly comic book format is obsolete, with most people preferring the longer graphic novel format now. It's cheaper and you don't have to wait 6 to 12 months for the story arc to conclude. I've been working at or running various types of conventions for the last 10 years. Attendance is down at all the different genres except for a few growing horror conventions, but anime is so popular now with the youth that it's their main form of entertainment that they consume. Netflix will never die because they are the only major streaming service that provides a constant flow of new anime films and series. Here in Arizona this year, we actually went from 3 anime conventions to 6. And that's not even counting all the little comic and anime events that have popped up around the state at local libraries. Let's talk social media now. Facebook is supposedly the #1 social media platform, but we all know that's not true. They claim to have 2.85 billion monthly active users, but how many of those are business pages or alt accounts for when you inevitably end up in Facebook jail for draconian censorship charges? And TikTok is down in 6th place. So even though it's listed at number 2 with 2.5 billion users, the true #1 social media platform is YouTube. One study found that 90% of young people have chosen YouTube and TikTok as their sources for entertainment and social media interaction. And what do these two platforms provide that makes them the most appealing to young people? Free entertainment. Now on to the next doomed entertainment industry. The music business is a dead man walking. During the 90s, when they jacked up the prices for a single CD with only 10 songs on it for $20, we all went looking for an alternative. And that's when we found the peer-to-peer file sharing sites, spearheaded by Napster. That was the beginning of the end. At least a lot of us in Gen X still supported our favorite bands by either going to a live show or buying a shirt or other merch from them, but we collectively stopped paying for music. And on into the 2000s, the broke teenage millennial mantra was music should be free. My nephews used to carry a thumb drive on their keychains that had like 7,000 songs on it, all illegally downloaded. And that was only because their thumb drives had run out of memory. They had friends with better thumb drives that had over 20,000 pirated songs on them. So of all the things the boomers accuse the millennials of killing, like malls and Applebee's, I think the greatest victory their generation has achieved is destroying the corrupt music industry. On behalf of the millions of musicians those greedy bastards ripped off, I say thank you. But what also comes along with that is the death of the rock star. Many like to count either Prince or David Bowie as the last rock star. And though that is up for debate, you can't deny that there's not too many performers left who can pack a stadium. And people like Taylor Swift or Kanye West don't even rank as musicians. They are pop trash, a disposable product offering nothing of substance or value. They might have made billions of dollars, but as soon as they're gone from the spotlight, they will be forgotten, a mere footnote in musical history. And since technology now affords even the brokest of musicians to record their music with free apps and online software, not to mention just random live recordings on video and social media platforms, literally everybody is doing it. It is harder to sift through it all to find truly good music because there is so much of it online, and the floundering radio stations, almost all of which are corporate-owned now, only play what the music industry tells them to play. And the music companies are investing in live music festivals in a vain attempt to hold on to their dwindling revenue. That's why all the big shows have 10 to 50 bands on the bill, or they're charging $100 or more a ticket, with VIP tickets costing thousands of dollars. And that's not even including the $20 to $50 in handling fees. They know their time is up. Alright, I've got some final stats for you. These are all from 2022. And this will probably come as a big surprise to a lot of you. The global cinema box office generated $26 billion. The global recorded music industry made $31 billion. The worldwide book publishers market, including self-published books, was $89 billion. Now books have been at war with this next industry for quite some time, and I'm not sure when they pulled ahead. But who has been totally destroying the music and movie industry for decades now? You know it, you love it, the worldwide porn industry made $100 billion. Do I make you horny, baby? Oh yeah? But wait. There's one more contender, and no one believes me when I tell them. Now the total revenue for all the movies and all the music and all the books and all the porn worldwide in 2022 was $246 billion combined. But the global video game industry brought in almost $347 billion. Get wrecked, son. That's $100 billion more than the other four combined. In just a single year. And mobile gaming made up $248 billion of that total. And guess what? Because of mobile games, there are actually more females playing video games than there are males. So if you're a gamer dude pining away that you can't find the gamer chick of your dreams, don't give up. She's out there, bro. Maybe you just need to switch games. And shower. And do some push-ups. And actually try talking to them. Okay, we'll save that for later. I tried to make a Cthulhu Mythos video game back in the 90s with RPG Maker. I didn't get very far because the only copy you could get in the US at the time was a pirated download that was only in Japanese. Though it's very much a pipe dream, I'd love to try again and make a simple MMO game where you could form a cult and get bonuses from your chosen deity and summon cosmic beasties to fight other cults. A couple have tried, but they all suck. So video games have won. More than porn, Hollywood music, and good old-fashioned books combined. See, entertainment has already completely changed in the 21st century, and I'll bet a lot of you didn't even know it. Imagine what the next 77 years have in store. I'm glad books are still hanging in there, having survived the beginning of the electronic age. Books don't have batteries, and flipping through a book is much faster than scrolling through a PDF, so they should stick around at least a little bit longer. But with the internet providing free social media and YouTube, self-publishing books, home recording studios, print-on-demand everything, 3D printing, and sales platforms like Etsy and eBay to buy and sell art in all its forms, we have truly entered a new DIY era. The kids are right, we don't need any of those old industries anymore. We can entertain ourselves and each other. And that is why you are so vital to what we do at the First United Church of Cthulhu. While yes, we are a real religion, it's about creating a community, a gathering place for monsters, weirdos, and other dark souls. And like Lovecraft predicted, together, we will create new ways to revel and enjoy ourselves. So stay safe out there, Starspawn, and be sure to subscribe for more Doomsday Prophecies and other horror, occult, and Lovecraft madness. Until next time, Cthulhu Fatagen.